Hey everyone, Haitian Homie here, and last week was a huge week in the Overwatch League. More news than I think I've seen in any other week since I started doing these weekly recap videos. So let's dig right into everything that happened between April 1st and April 7th in the Overwatch League and Contenders. Now, I have to put a little asterisk here. There are so many things that happened that I'm sorry if I missed something. There was just a sheer huge amount of news, so I hope I got everything. Hey, if there's something that happened that I missed, I'll pin that in the comment section. Let me know. I'll go ahead and pin that so everybody else can see what happened as well. Let's dig in. We're actually going to skip past Monday, April 1st. I don't think there was any real news. There was a lot of fake news for April Fool's Day, but I don't think there was anything real, right? I don't think Jake actually got traded to the Dallas Fuel. He didn't. So, skipping right past Monday, going on to Tuesday, April 2nd, and oh my gosh, there is a lot to get through. So, first off, Babybay is traded from the San Francisco Shock to the Atlanta Reign, and as it turns out, that hasn't helped the Reign much. Babybay was just feeding Fury all day long. Every single grab he could possibly feed Fury. Babybay is going to need a little bit of help because he's not exactly used to playing the video game. He's been benched for quite a while, but Babybay is traded to the Reign to try to fill the void of Defran. Note is headed from the Dallas Fuel to the Boston Uprising, and RCK is traded from the Boston Uprising to the Dallas Fuel. No opinions on this one yet, really. I mean, it's just a one-for-one trade. Maybe it's in terms of how the players will fit the respective systems. Maybe there's something with team synergies. Maybe one player wasn't really playing well with his teammates. Swap them up, see how it goes. Continuing with the Dallas Fuel, Coco has retired. So if you remember, he started Season 1 as a player, ended up transitioning to a coaching position, and now he is retiring from Overwatch League entirely and will no longer be with the Dallas Fuel. The Washington Justice parted ways with their coach Obazel. He wasn't the head coach, he was like an assistant coach, but after the disappointing 1-6 start, it makes sense that they would change up the coaching staff a little bit. Damon is no longer the head coach of the Paris Eternal, but that's okay because we'll talk about where he's headed in just a minute. Toronto Defiant part ways with their strategic coach, Don. Boston has signed the flex support player Persia from Contenders Pacific Season 2 winners Talon Esports. Team Envy has released Fisher, and Fisher has kind of teased that he might be headed somewhere soon, but as of recording this video, that news has not yet come out. Frill is stepping away from XL2, saying that he needs time away from Overwatch because he's burnt out. And the Uprising Academy signed Iced, a new DPS player. So all of this happened on Tuesday, April 2nd. So much news, and we're not even halfway through the week yet. So, moving on to Wednesday, April 3rd. Remember how Damon was no longer going to be with the Paris Eternal? Well, just one day later, he signed as the tank coach for the Dallas Fuel. So he'll be joining the likes of Arrow and Jane in that coaching staff. That same day, Stellar, a DPS player for the Toronto Defiant, retired. This one came as kind of a surprise to a lot of people. I mean, he was brand new within the Overwatch League, but of course he had a history in Contenders and outside of the league. But he basically cited stress, mental, personal stress. He needed to step away. So Stellar retired on Wednesday, April 3rd, but we'll take a look at his replacement in just a second as well. Moving on to Thursday, April 4th, the Toronto Defiant, they signed IM37 to kind of fill Stellar's slot. Now, this guy is really, really interesting because he went from Open Division to Overwatch League in 18 days. This dude went from playing on ladder, literally having never had any professional experience. He went from playing in ranked to being in the league in 18 days. That's insane. But it seems like it's kind of working out for him. And if you checked out that post-game interview he had with Danny Lim, that was really fun. Take a look at that if you get the chance. But IM37 from the ladder to the Defiant in 18 days. That is a speed-running world record for the Overwatch League. Atlanta Reign have signed Gladiators Legion tank FRD. And this puts the Gladiators in an interesting situation, which we will also take a look at in a second. But, yeah, so the Reign have signed a new off-tank as well. Now, the biggest news for this Thursday, April 4th, was that the Florida Mayhem, the hapless, hopeless Florida Mayhem, released, well, I don't even know how to begin this because it's such a cluster of just messiness. So the Florida Mayhem restructured to an all-Korean team. What does that mean? That means that they have released coaches Mineral and Yeah. Now, Mineral has been their head coach since way before Overwatch League, since they were Misfits. So their longtime head coach is gone. Yeah is gone. They dropped Apply, McGravy, and Tavik. Now, the significance of this is humongous. Tavik was the only player left from the Season 1 roster. He was the only player left from the original, Misfits days. Gone. That's unfortunate that the entire team is restructured within a season. Then you've got Apply, who just got the call up to play for the Florida Mayhem this season. And then you have McGravy, who got the call to join the Mayhem halfway through Stage 1. This dude only got to play a few weeks, and he's dropped. So, the Mayhem just really screwed over their players. I get the idea of going to an all-Korean roster, but your shtick in Season 1 was that you were, the only, basically, all-EU team. And that's just kind of gone. I don't think that this is good for their brand, this is good for their image, because, well, they have none. They keep changing their image, and it just doesn't work. From a marketing perspective, which is kind of what I do, the Mayhem are a mess. Anyway, we move on. So they dropped Mineral, Yeah, Apply, McGravy, and Tavik. They added Insight. He's from O2 Blast. They added him in as a coach. They've added Korean Mulan, who was previously from the Los Angeles Valiant, to be the assistant team manager. And they moved MDS up from just being a translator to being the team manager. And that's because, with an all-Korean roster now, the guy who's doing the translating has a much bigger role when your upper management is not Korean. Again, this is odd because at the lower level you've got all-Korean base, but then at the upper level you have English-speaking and European kind of management. It's an odd juxtaposition. And it hasn't turned up in the results yet because, the big joke is that during their game against the Fusion this past week, they C9'd off the cart. And it's like, oh, wow, if only they had an all-Korean team that could communicate effectively, they would never have stepped off the cart. But it was an all-Korean team, and they still just did not communicate. So the issues run deeper than simply language, right? There's obviously blocks in here, communication issues. There's just not synergies with this team, and that has nothing to do with the fact whether they are Korean or not. The team just needs some work. This is a start, I guess, from a competitive perspective. Maybe this is going to be better going forward because, it obviously can't really get worse. They're one of the worst teams in the league. So competitively, maybe this will be an improvement, but they're really just shooting their fan base. They're shooting themselves in the foot and scaring away their fan base by removing every bit that they've loved. It's not a good look, but we move on to Saturday, April 6th, when we have equally sad news that Effect has retired, citing mental health and burnout reasons. This one we kind of, you had to see it coming at some point. Ever since Effect has been in the league, he's been kind of back and forth with the game. And it doesn't really come as a surprise to me that he's decided to retire. I hope that this is good for his mental health because it's something that he's talked openly about in the past. And if you want to read his twit longer, he does talk about it in kind of detail within that post. I hope that this is good for him. He says he's at some point going to probably go back to streaming so that he can sustain himself, make some money. But he will be stepping away from the league. That's good. If you're feeling burnt out, step away. Sometimes that's just what you've got to do. And finally, we end the week with Sunday, April 7th. Bishu is going to be on a temporary two-way contract to play as the stand-in off-tank for the Gladiators Legion. The reason for this is because the Legion have 5 full-time members right now since FRD is gone. The only other backup they have is XQC, who's a main tank substitute, and he's not going to play. He's not going to play. So they don't have a off-tank. That means Bishu is going to slide on over, step in, and fill that slot. I think that's a really good move for Bishu because coming off of his health issues, he's going to need to ease his way back into the game. It's going to give him some good playing time and, give him the opportunity to play competitively. Again, that's a good move for him. It's a good move for the Legion, of course, because you get an Overwatch League caliber player. this is just temporary until they can sign a off-tank that fits their system. But I like this. I like this decision, and hopefully we'll be able to see Bishu back up on the main stage very soon. So that is it for this week. What a whirlwind of events, lots of signings, lots of tradings, retirements. There's just all sorts of news out there. Hopefully I didn't really miss anything. Let me know if I did. I try to cover as much of like at least NA contenders as I can, as well as everything in the league, because that's what it seems like most people are here for, is like the big league stuff. So let me know if I missed anything. Put that in the comments. I will pin it so everybody else can see what I might have missed. I'm not sure if we'll have a Thursday video yet. I'm actually traveling to New York because the Excelsior are having a watch party and networking event. Lots of people are going to be there. Lots of people from like the NYXL marketing staff, the Overwatch League staff is going to be there. Slasher is going to be there. So I'll be doing that on Thursday. I'll be prepping to travel on Wednesday. So I'm not sure if I'll have time to record a video yet. But when I get back, I'll be sure, if there's anything interesting, I'll be sure to tell you about it. You might see me on stream during that Washington Justice versus NYXL game. So if they check in on the watch party, you might see me, you know, waving at the crowd or whatever. So we'll see if there's a Thursday video. But if you don't hear from me on Thursday, you'll hear from me again on Monday. Thank you for watching, and I will see you all later.